Hey guys and girls and everything in between, this is your podcasting pal, Psycho Steve. You're listening to my weekly podcast called Here Today, Gone Tomorrow. Today we are very fortunate and blessed to have Mr. Mark Kendall, guitar extraordinaire of the great band Great White. And this is our first Skype interview ever. So you are our, I guess, guinea pig or virgin or whatever you want to call it. Welcome, Mr. Kendall.
Thanks. Good to be on your first show, man.
Absolutely. So I don't know if you remember this, a couple of years ago, I did do, not a podcast, but I did an internet radio show on the same name, but I just carried it over to my podcast and I interviewed you I know you do a zillion interviews a year, but I did it for JonasMountRadio.com out of Charleston, South Carolina.
Right on. Yeah. Right when I saw your name, I go, yeah, I knew who it was.
Right on. Okay, I just want to say, first of all, we want to say thank you so much for giving us the opportunity again to do this for now, this podcast, which is a lot better because, we're going to get to the nitty gritty and talk about all things Great White and whatever else you got to promote. Sound like a good idea?
Yeah, sounds good, man.
Awesome. All right, let's get started. The first thing, I've been a fan for over 25 years, as many people are on my show. How did the whole Great White start? People that don't know, as far as in, it started with Dante Fox, right?
Right. What happened was I was in a band, and we were playing originals at the time, but when we first started, we were doing all covers, like the 5 sets a night deal and all that. And then we started writing music, started playing Hollywood and stuff. And I was getting kind of burned out on the singer. He was like 28 and I was only 19. I was the second oldest guy in the band.
Wow.
so, 28, I would give anything to be that age now, but it was old to us then. So I heard about this singer from a friend of mine. He said he saw him in the backyard singing Scorpions and Judas Priest Perfect and all this stuff. But he said he's only 16. I go, man, that sounds young, but I'll check him out. It was Jack Russell.
Wow.
And he came and auditioned for my band. After me calling him for like 3 weeks, he kept telling me he was sick. We went and picked up his gear. Oh, no, first he came to the audition. Then he kind of went off in this bedroom on a break, and I was playing him a couple originals, and he goes, what do you think about getting rid of that guy with the mustache and the fat guy, and let's just go make our own band? And I go, right on, dude. I'm totally into it. I'm trying to learn this whole thing, And so we went and picked up his PA and put it. I had a green station wagon, big old boat, and put his PA. He picked it up from the band he was jamming with in a garage. And put his PA, he picked Altec Lansing PA on the roof of my station wagon. And anyways, it went on, and then he got in a lot of trouble. We actually got a drummer and bass player, but he got in a lot of trouble, had to go to this youth authority prison kind of. And then the next thing I hear, he's got sentenced to 8 years. So I go, I don't think I can wait that long.
Wow.
Yeah, so I made a band, ended up being called Dante Fox, had a chick singer first, George Lynch from I forget what his band was called, Exciter, I think it was called. He stole my singer. So then I got a guy singer that kind of sang like Halford. And then I guess from Jack doing good time, as they say, when he first got first the judge cut his sentence in half to 4 years. Then it got from him joining all the drug programs in the youth authority, they cut it in half again. And then from doing good time, they cut 6 months off. So he ended up doing 18 months.
Wow.
He just said, just give me an audition. I'll blow away anybody you got and all this stuff. So he came and I liked him, and my bass player liked him. The drummer said he wanted to keep the guy we had, but he was outvoted in the democracy or whatever. So that we'd already been playing about a year and a half when Jack, joined. So we just started playing around. We played around for a couple of years, and all of a sudden the right guy was in the crowd. A fella called Alan Niven. He actually worked for Virgin Records in Europe or in the UK for 5 years. But he had started a label called Enigma that had signed Motley Crue,
right,
at Berlin, and so he was looking for a rock band, and Don Dokken was a friend of his, and Alan Niven introduced Dokken to Peter Minch and Cliff Bernstein, who became their managers.
Nice.
Became his manager. So he kind of felt like he owed him a favor. So he goes, what's the band in town that's good? And he said, Dante Fox. You got to go check him out. Niven comes and sees us twice and hates it. So Dokken tells him, dude, I think you're missing it here. I'm going to go with you, and we'll go see him together. So we played the Whiskey, and on the encore that night, we played No Doctor by Humble Pie.
Awesome.
And that's what sold him. He goes, oh, I get it now. I see what can be done here, or whatever. So he's standing outside of the building after he gave us his card and stuff and said, come down to the record company the following day. Gives us his card, and he's standing outside of the building with all these kids all around. And he said, I came driving by and stuck my head out the window and screamed something into the crowd. And the kid next to him said, there goes Great White. And right when he heard that, he said something clicked in his head, and he goes, that's their name. Dante Fox has got to go. And that's one of the first, the next day when we went and had the meeting with him in his office, he said he loved the band. He sees a lot of potential, but hates the name. Just absolutely hates it. And so we go, oh no, we got to name the band again, and because it's so hard to name your band. But he goes, no, I got the name, and we're going, like what is it or whatever? Great White. And we were just like, oh my God, that's terrible, But we just kind of accepted it, and as we were driving back to Jack's house in his little Baja bus, we're all excited because we're going to get signed and everything, and there's a small label or whatever. And I just go, dude, these are some of the sacrifices you have to make, with the big boys,
Right.
And when we told them we're going to lose our following, he goes, don't worry about those 70 people. I'm talking about taking worldwide. You know what I mean? So it was pretty funny, but here's what happened. Jack and I used to go shark fishing, and we were out on his boat in Long Beach, and all of a sudden it was almost like it hit us both at the same time. We're going, dude, Great White, sharks, hello, T-shirts, we're just going, holy shit, we love this name now, because we didn't attach the shark to the name.
Right.
At first. That, we thought of that way later. That's why in the office when he mentioned Great White, we're going like, yuck, But when we thought of the shark, we thought this could be cool because, not only does the image of a shark really cool, but it doesn't dictate what kind of music you have to play as far as, like a name like Slayer. I mean, you're pretty much not going to play too many ballads if your name's Slayer, get me? So we can pretty much do whatever we want and be Great White,
right.
with the shark logo, and everything will be fine. It won't limit us musically with the name. So that's kind of how it got started. And Alan Niven was a heck of a businessman. He really helped shape the band. He helped bring out my blues influences eventually. The first album was kind of like we were trying to be Judas Priest. We're kids. We don't know what we're doing. And we're just trying to like Judas Priest and Scorpions were way under the radar. You're totally cool if you even know those bands.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because they weren't like commercial hit bands. So we wanted to be like that, So we're trying to be something that we're actually not on the first album, because I was influenced by all the blues type players, the Blackmores, ZZ Top, Billy Gibbons or whatever, and Clapton, and just people that played, from the heart and all that. And I was just into that kind of playing. And here I am trying to be, like War Pigs boy, And so anyways, when we were recording the first album, in between the takes and stuff, I'd be playing like I'm Going Home by Alvin Lee, or, some other blues type thing or something. And the second engineer, who ended up in our band later, Michael Lardy, he said, that's what you should, he didn't say it, but he was thinking it, because that's what he should be playing, that stuff he's playing in between the songs. And that's what ended up happening. And that had a lot to do with Alan Niven allowing me just to be myself and just play how I feel like playing, not try to be something, So, and we finally, after all this trial and error and writing all these songs, we finally came with something that felt natural, and that was, Rock Me and that album, Once Bitten.
Right. And you can definitely feel your blues influences, like you said, Clapton, ZZ Top, Muddy Waters, that kind of stuff. Very, very blues saturated, which is awesome. Well, because, rock and roll is, what is it? It's just the upbeat rhythm and blues.
It's exactly right. And, what makes us sound the way we do is when we play together. These guys in my band have all different kind of influences,
Right.
I'm like a bad blues guy. I mean, I'd be perfectly happy just listening to Chuck Berry for the rest of my life. But the rest of the guys in the band, like Michael Lardy's into the softer side of music, like with Elton John or Billy Joel. Like he digs, really excellent songwriting and, good musicianship and stuff like that. And my drummer, you can't even be behind his truck. It's so much bass. It just rattles your teeth. I mean, so he's more like death metal boy. You know what I mean?
Nice.
And, our bass player, he kind of likes jazz and stuff, and so when we play together, it makes a sound just like any band. Like when you hear us, you're going, oh, I hear the blues in there, but they got keyboards and, really heavy backbeat or, so that just like any band, we're not all going to have the exact same influences. So
right on.
But we don't,
works, though.
Yeah. We don't email each other our parts to do a record. We get in the room and play. That's when it usually works out the best,
That's what I was just about to ask you. Speaking of albums and everything, the last album that you did was Elation with your previous singer, Terry Lewis, and everything. Now, while you're out on the road, you do stuff off Elation and then a mixed bag of goodies of all of the other stuff, like stuff that you did with like Jack and now, right?
Well, actually, that's not our last album. That's the one before the last one. We just did an album called Full Circle last year with Michael Wagner producing.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, so we do a couple off that. We did one off the Elation album called Something for You. We play all the hits. We have jams where we don't really know what's going to happen from night to night. So, so it's not all carved in stone. It just depends on how we're feeling. So we keep it interesting for ourselves, and we never bombard anybody with new music. We do a couple and say, how was that? Do you dig it or what? They usually let you know right when the song ends.
All right. So speaking of band members and everything, besides Mitch, does everybody live in California?
Yeah, but not, well, three of us live pretty close, but Michael Lardy lives in Sacramento, so more up north, and then Mitch is in Nashville.
Right.
The way we rehearse is, when we change the set, we'll get together, or if we're getting ready to do a record, we'll have writing sessions, write on our own. And, everybody's just flight away. I mean, and plus we play a lot. We're doing a lot of shows, so we're playing together a lot.
Right on.
So, yeah.
Okay. Speaking of musicians, a lot of people don't know your background. Besides guitar, do you play any other instruments?
Not at like world-class level. I mean, I know how to play bass. Not really, a little harmonica, but I wouldn't want to get in front of the guy from Jay Giles,
Right on. Okay. Did anyone go ahead.
I'll just put it this way. I can play bass, but not like a true bass player plays bass. I don't think like the bass player thinks. I don't, so I don't consider myself, I wouldn't even want to play bass. I'd rather have a bass player do it, a guy that knows bass players in every band he's ever been into, knows the name of, the guy in Jefferson Starship or Jefferson Airplane or, just, I love bass players that are bass fans.
Right on.
Guitar players that aren't good enough that switch to bass. Okay.
Nice.
So I have a lot of respect for real bass players, and so that's why I say, of course, it has strings on it, and I can play it, but
cool.
The thing that interests me is guitar. I love guitar. My favorite wind instrument, which I cannot play, is sax. My dad used to take me to jazz clubs and show me real sax players, and because he said he had the best sax player in the world, but the guy, he was into heroin and all this stuff, and he just it was just wasted his talent. So he would take me to these clubs, and I go, no way can he blow away that guy. And he said, Mark, that guy is not even in the same league and all this stuff. So, but I really, that's one of my favorite instruments away from stringed instruments is the saxophone. I just think that I got to jam with Clarence Clemens.
Wow.
And we played with him live from, Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah. The big man.
Incredible, the feel that guy has. It was such a gift for him.
Yeah.
And I hear the tone that comes out of that thing, and it makes me feel amazing. I can't even describe how beautiful it sounds when it's played like that.
Absolutely.
I just love the thickness and the rawness and the way you can squeeze notes out of it when it's played great,
Speaking of your dad and going to these jazz bars, was your father or anybody else in your family musicians?
Yeah, my dad was a jazz trumpet player.
Oh, cool. Did he play with anybody that we would know?
Louis Belson, when he was brilliant, Louis Belson and Pearl Bailey used to come over our house and play pinochle and stuff.
That's awesome.
So, but then Louis went on to do big band stuff, and this was just like a 5-piece. So, but what happened was there was just no money in jazz, and after I was born, and then my brother, he had to raise a family, and so he just kind of put his horn down for his family.
Wow. Okay. That's pretty cool.
Sure, it wasn't too easy.
All right, so let's fast forward. How old were you when you got your first guitar?
9.
Nice.
I was 9 years old.
An electric or an acoustic?
A Spanish acoustic guitar. I actually begged him for it because there was a band that played across the street, and I used to watch them through the little side window. And I saw the bass player play with his teeth one day.
Right.
And flew home and begged my dad to get me a guitar. I gotta have a guitar. Gotta have it. And so he got me acoustic, and I learned some chords. And you know, I'd already been singing along with records. That's what I did when I was a little kid.
Right.
I would sing. I would sing with the records. I loved melody and singing, and you know, good singers. And so when I got my guitar, I learned some chords off the neighbors. You know, I ended up learning 4 songs: Gloria, Wipeout, Pipeline, and Secret Agent Man, and played at my 4th grade class with another guitar player who had a Fender Mustang guitar and a Fender Twin Reverb.
Wow.
K guitar and a K amp.
Do you still?
That's comparing a Rolex to a Casio, you know, a China, you know. But his parents put duct tape or Scotch tape on his knob. So they didn't want him to turn up to past a certain thing. And my parents, you know, they didn't do anything to my knob, so I could do as loud as I wanted. But that was fun, you know. We played for the 5th grade class in the 4th grade, and we had our 2 guitar parts together and everything. So, yeah, that's kind of how I got started. And then I learned a song off a record. My very first song I ever learned from listening to music was For Your Love by the Yardbirds.
Wow.
And the other stuff I kind of learned from other people. Like, I had a few neighbors that played guitar for some reason. I don't know why. But they played guitar, and they showed me how to play some chords. And it seemed like E, D, and A were like in every song, like Gloria, E, D, A. You know what I mean? So a lot of the songs, you know, had 3 or 4 chords that you needed to know. So I was able to, you know, start my way under the neck and learn my way around after a couple of years.
Right on. So, do you still own your first electric guitar?
I don't own my first electric guitar. I had it for about 2 years, and then I got a Fender Telecaster.
Okay.
Sold that guitar for $5.
Wow.
$5.
That's so sad.
Brutal. I had all these fluorescent, you know, like radio stickers on it and stuff, like
right.
fluorescent pink, you know, so I just flooded it with all these like stickers, and it was a K guitar, kind of a cheap one.
Okay.
It had 3 pickups on it. Yeah, that was it.
Right. So how many guitars do you have in your arsenal now?
I'd have to go to storage, but if I had to guess, probably 40.
Wow.
Somewhere 40 range.
Okay.
You can only put one at a time.
True. Do you have a go-to guitar?
I'm not even really a collector. They accumulated. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, I remember in the 80s and reading in Rip magazine and Metal Edge magazine, you were a big fan of Gibson and Hamer. You had a lot. And I think Michael was using a Kramer guitar, if I remember correctly.
Kramer. Yeah, I played Kramer's when Buddy Blaze worked there.
Oh, okay.
When Buddy made my guitars, that's when the quality was totally there. I mean, he just knew what he was doing. Then he left the company, and the quality kind of went down a little bit. I got disinterested. You know, when we were really going strong, I mean, we had Gibson endorsing us in like Fender.
Right.
But, you know, as soon as the record sales fall off a little bit, they don't answer their phone very often. No, but so after Kramer, yeah, I did try the Hamer. Actually, I played a Hamer that Tommy. God, his name's escaping me for some reason. Tommy, you know, from
Shaw?
Styx.
Tommy Shaw?
Tommy Shaw. Tommy
Yes.
Shaw, I'm sorry. He designed a guitar that was acoustic and electric. It had an acoustic direct, plug out. And
Right
then,
on.
so you can mix the two together and stuff, or just have acoustic only. It eliminated us having to have an acoustic on one of those stands.
Right.
And up and play it and then go back to your electric. We could just switch it and get the Chet Atkins type, acoustic sound. That was a pretty good design. I played that for a couple of years. Then I've just gone, from company to company. I try to be as loyal as I possibly can. It's usually one company, they weren't sending the guitars on time to the people buying them, and I was getting emails like as if I was some quality control dude. I just lent my name to this thing.
Right.
I don't tell them; these guys do. And, I was getting like complaints about shipping coming late, and so I just had to bail out of that. I go, my name is removed from this place.
I hear you. So what's your go-to guitar now?
The go-to guitar now actually was made by a guy called Rick Harrison, called RH Custom. He's out here in Redlands, California. He's out here in Redlands, California. Rick Harrison.
Okay.
And they're called RH Custom guitars. And we had about 4 meetings, went over everything, every detail, the wood, the pickups, pretty much everything you could think of that on a guitar. And I actually got the perfect guitar finally.
Amen to that.
I mean, in the past, I've always had great guitars, but it's almost like, in a way, I was settling, because it'd be like the type deal where you go, I love everything on this guitar, but this one thing, I'm very happy. And he's just an independent guitar maker that does one of a kind guitars. So he's not even out to make a bunch of money off my name or going to go make 50 guitars just like mine, or, so he's just out for the art of it. He used to build pool cues. He used to make pool cues, was his art, but he's a great guitar player himself, kind of like the Crosby, Stills and Nash guy. He goes out and plays, in clubs, acoustic and whatever, more generic. But he's a master with the wood. So he started making guitars, and man, the stuff he did, pretty incredible. Pretty incredible wood carving, crazy shit.
All right. So, are we allowed to touch on the base about Terry's demise and brought in now?
Yeah. Touch wherever you want. I don't care.
Okay. Well, I have respect for him as real as you. So, now you have Mitch Malloy, who was a former member of Van Halen for like a whole New York second, and then he became the singer of your band. Now, after Terry left, did you guys have like tryouts, or did you already know Mitch? How did Mitch become now?
Let me explain this. The Mitch Malloy thing did not happen by design. It was a complete freak thing. First of all, last year we wanted a gang shout kind of thing on a couple songs.
Right.
So Michael Wagner had about 20 people come down, and they were all in like big bands, like Lizzie Hale and from Hailstorm, and guys from Winger and Slaughter, and Mitch Malloy was one of the guys that did the gang shout. So I don't even know if I spoke with him there at all. But then on the Monsters cruise, we had, when we're just kind of feeling like it on the Monsters cruise, we have a bunch of people come on the stage. we had like YNT, and again, Mitch Malloy came up and just did the my thing. You know what I mean? So in Once Bitten, Twice Shy.
Right.
So I was at home one day, a few weeks back, and in my news feed, I saw this Van Halen story about Mitch Malloy, and I go, "Holy cow! I know who this guy is. He's, you know, the guy that was in Nashville and on the cruise." I go, "What a trip! This is mind blowing because, you know, I grew up with Van Halen. I mean, I saw him at 3 blocks from my house for $1. Okay, at a junkyard.
Wow.
So I go way back, like the mid '70s with Van Halen.
Nice.
And so I was really interested in reading this or seeing this documentary about Mitch Malloy being in Van Halen, especially since I never heard anything about it.
Right.
And so I watch it and I go, wow, man, this guy, he sounded pretty good on this like original that Eddie gave him or something. I thought that was pretty cool.
Right.
You know, did a pretty good rendition of Panama.
Right.
So I go, because I never heard of Mitch Malloy in my life. You know, I'm just out of the loop. He has tons of fans. I've been busy. I don't really, you know, I'm not a music research dude or whatever. But so I went back and I listened to a few of his solo things, and now I'm like digging the guy. I'm going, man, he has pipes. And, you know, at the time, the past year or so, maybe 2 years, we just kind of, you know, and when I say this, it's actually out of love, but we were like growing apart a little bit with Terry. Just, you know, a little. It's just, you know, I don't know. It's like maybe we didn't work on our marriage enough. I don't know. Maybe we weren't communicating enough, but it just became, you know, I don't know. It just didn't. We weren't feeling it anymore. I wasn't, and so this Mitch Malloy thing just came out of the blue. We weren't like auditioning singers, or you know, putting ads out, putting the word out, or anything.
Right.
I just happened to see this thing, so I called Michael Lardy and go, dude, man, I was just checking out this Mitch Malloy, and he's pretty awesome. He goes, oh, I've been looking into him for a while. And also, our agent Sullivan, you know, he's kind of pitching him to me. I go, what? So here I am checking this dude out, and these guys are already like practically hiring the guy. But that's what I mean. It all came together very weird, and so I said to my father, I go, well, dude, I go, you know, I heard his voice. He sounds pretty darn good. I go, let's see if he's interested. Send him some music, some old stuff, you know, like the Rock Me maybe, or whatever, just a couple songs, and then a couple new ones too. That way we can hear how he sounds on our new stuff. So we sent it to him, and Mitch is an engineer, you know, he's a producer.
Yeah, I saw his studio. It's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, he's done like Faith Hill mix and, you know, Kenny Loggins and all this stuff. So I knew he would have no problem overdubbing his vocal.
Right.
But anyway, you know, a couple of days roll by and we get the music back, and he just sounded like amazing. So we're going, you know, we flew him out and jammed with him. Here's the funny thing. He learned all the songs in 10 days, did not have one cheat sheet. He knew all the lyrics by heart.
Wow.
I don't know what the deal is with that, but that's pretty impressive. You know, we rehearsed for 3 days, you know, good long rehearsals, 5 or 6 hours.
Wow.
And we were, you know, I made a few comments about maybe, you know, can you do this? Can you do that on this part and that part? But apart from that, man, we were just like really, really happy with the way he sang. He was a little bit tired the first day. And, and I think that, you know, of course, he's probably a little nervous. You know, he didn't sleep at all. You know, I would freak out if I was going to audition for something, you know, and not putting us on any kind of pedestal like Led Zeppelin or, you know, but I knew he was excited, so I didn't even really judge the first day that much. But the second day, I hope he shows up today. He was actually really good the first day. I could just tell he was real tired.
Nice.
But the second day, that's when he really killed it. And I go, oh, okay, yeah, this is gonna work. And so that was that, and
So you're still in pretty good terms though with Terry though. There's no
he went straight back into XYZ. I really think that's where he feels most at home.
Okay.
Because he immediately put XYZ together. I saw a commercial on the internet where
me too.
Blues Brothers and everything. So I think that's fantastic. And he's back with Pat. That's his brother. So no harm, no foul.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, that's what I mean. This didn't come out of some big hate thing or like we got in this big argument and, started punching each other or something. It was just a deal like a marriage that grows apart or whatever, And as far as Mitch goes, we just feel he's a really, really good fit for the band. And, in every way, image-wise, his voice, just melds into our music and he really puts on a good show too, man.
Right on.
And he has kind of a reserved attitude. Like when he's away, his personality is pretty reserved, but he gets out there and just goes crazy. He's really comfortable engaging the crowd in between the songs too. It's like nothing he does is scripted. He just pulls it off the top of his head.
Nice.
That's sweet too.
All right. Now, I'm very proud of you because you've been sober for many years and everything, and I know you sponsor quite a bit of people to keep them sober. And you brought up a couple bands that you've played with or that you used to listen to. One band, and I know one band that you did go on tour with years ago was Alice Cooper, because that's one of the first times I ever saw you guys perform.
Oh.
This is going back years ago. I know Alice is very proud of his sobriety, and the way he keeps his sobriety is golf. He plays at least one round a day just to, keep his mind off of drinking and doing anything else. What do you do?
Actually, in my off time, I play pool.
Oh, right on. Okay.
Pool player. I played in the World Championships last year in New York. I practice a lot with a guy that's also he's a world champion. He's run 400 balls like 2 times and several 300 plus ball runs. So I train with him. I train with a guy named Mark Wilson in St. Louis, and so that's kind of my escape from away from the music.
Right.
And so I love that. But the way I keep sober is one day at a time, for one thing. You'll never hear me say I'm done. You'll never hear me say, I'll never drink again or, put all these impossible tasks in front of myself. I just wake up in the morning, I pray, and I say, keep me sober one more day. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
And, the time takes care of itself. And the other way I keep sober is by helping others, reaching out. On about 7 years ago, I reached out on Facebook and just said, instead of telling everybody how great I am, I said, well, I wonder what would happen if I offered my sober friendship or support to anybody out there struggling, with addiction or alcoholism or whatever. So I did it, and I got all this feedback. So I started sending them, started a little online group and sending them daily meditations and prayers.
Right.
And now it's grown to 108 people. And each person that has contacted me, I've worked with. So I'm not just talking like a bunch of people and I just send them prayers. I've actually worked with all these people at one time or another, spoke with them, shared my strength and hope, told them how I got sober, you know. And so I've worked with all these people. I've seen a lot of miracles. One of the first guys I worked with, I was able to get Music Cares to get him into a rehab in Nashville called Cumberland. And here we are 5+ years later, and he's a counselor there. So he's gone from patient to counselor. So that's pretty. And there's a lot of stories like that. You know, these guys are real down and out. You know, sometimes I notice that people, you know, they might be in trouble. They might be in a lot of pain and using alcohol and really don't know how to get sober. Maybe just a post like mine will go, oh, well, maybe I'll go talk to this guy, you know, because I don't really know. I've never been sober before. I don't know how to do it, you know. Right. So, you know, and that was my hope. So I'm not performing any miracles here. Just offering my sober friendship and support. That's it. And just sharing how I got sober. I mean, I'm not, you know, I don't got a magic wand or anything, you know. So, but I'm really proud of that I've been able to be part of a lot of people getting well, you know. So that's pretty cool.
Absolutely. So here's a question about your musical influences. If there was a musician, dead or alive, that you could get to play with, who would it be?
Dead or alive? There's a lot of great dead ones. You know, I mean, I've met this guy a few times and talked to him, and he's been very down to earth and soulful to me, invited my family to his shows, and that's Billy Gibbons. But I would, you know, really be honored to jam with him on a stage somewhere. That would just be badass. Because you know, here's the funny thing, you know, I'm in Billy Gibbons' dressing room and I'm just hanging out and I'm a little nervous, you know, I don't know what to say. So I just tell him that, the thing that blows me away about people that you put up somewhere way up high in a pedestal,
right?
They really know that that's where they live. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, you know, I'm trying to explain how much this guy means to me.
Right.
And I hope he got it, and I think he did. But music creates a lot of memories for people. I told them that when I hear that song, it takes me back to these apartments where I used to jam and with these guys, and you know, we used to play that song, and it's just cool, you know, meeting your heroes and stuff, and have them be really nice to you.
Nice. Yeah,
and he actually that night, and I'm still on tour. I still got two or three more shows to go.
Right.
He emails me, and I just had a flip phone at that time, so I didn't get my email before I got home. And I get home, and I seen when the email came in. It was that night I met him. Good meeting you. You know, if we're ever in your area, have mercy. Come on down. Bring the crew. Shit, I'm going. This guy actually remembered me. He not only remembered me, but he emails me. This is insane.
Nice.
And yeah. So it's just, and he did play in Palm Desert, California, where I was living, and did invite my family down. So that was really cool.
Wow.
I'm really good friends with his wife now, and you know, most of the heroes that I've met have been the most down to earth, soulful people you could ever know. And I'm not shocked by that because they play that way. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's different than anyone. And it's because that's the way they're feeling at that moment. You know, it's for no other reason. You know, they're going to do it different tomorrow because they might feel differently. But those are the guys that made me want to play. And every single one of them, including Johnny Winter, have just been so down to earth, you know what I mean? And besides that, they act as if they don't know how big they are. They don't, they don't know where they fit on the food chain of rockers.
Okay.
And
That's very humbling.
that way, I almost get embarrassed when somebody's all shaky and want me to sign something. I'm just going, dude, you know, it's all good, bro. You know, I'm not like Eddie Van Halen or, you know, Jeff Beck or anything, you know. It's all good, bro. It's all good. Ease up. Yeah, and I don't feel worthy of that, you know. It's like, so you don't really, I don't think you know, even on my level that, you know, I don't even know where to rate where we are, you know. Like we get off a plane in Japan, there's like 2,000 people screaming. I'm thinking like, where's Mike Tyson? Where you know, what the hell, man? You know, is
Nice.
Brad here or what? You know. So yeah, I don't think anybody like knows, you know, where they are as far as. It's not like you reach the top and you just stand there going, king of the mountain. You know what I mean? It's just funny. I just always found that interesting when I meet people who I just think are just like, you know, guitar gods, and they're so matter of fact and don't really care where they are or, you know, where they sit with anybody. You know, they're just all about playing and, you know.
Nice. So backtrack a little. When you got your first guarantee, as far as in your, you know, when you got your advance, what did you buy?
You know, I've never been a big, you know, I mean, I bought a house, I you know, bought a car or whatever, just the essentials. You know, you need a place to sleep. You know, you need to get point A to point B. But I didn't go out and start buying like, you know, Ferraris and, you know, I just the essentials, man. You know, I don't need a lot. You know, I've never been a person that really needs a lot. So I'm perfectly happy just having a great family, and, you know.
Nice.
I'm not, you know, I don't have a big ego. I don't need a, you know, Ferrari or anything.
All right. Speaking of cars, I am a bit of a car enthusiast. What kind of car do you drive?
We got a couple of cars. I got a BMW. I got a, believe it or not, one of my favorite trucks ever in my life, an Xterra.
Okay.
This thing it runs forever. I mean, I think there's 270,000 miles on it, and it just
wow.
It purrs.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so, you know, we got a couple of vehicles. We can get around town, get to the airport.
Nice. All right. Now, I know you have to get going in a few, so I'll ask you a couple more questions, and then we'll let you get out of here.
No problem. Okay.
Next for Great White, you're going to record a new album with Mitch?
Yeah, we've already talked about, there's a few too many shows this year that would just be too much to get to all these shows. But right. Definitely 2019, we've already talked about it. I got a lot of riffs. I've been, you know, putting a lot of riffs down, got some ideas and stuff. So that's the way we did it last time with Michael Wagner in Nashville. We got together 4 times in this like kitchen area off of a dining room at my drummer's house.
Okay.
Granted, this is 11 days away from where we're supposed to have an album together, and we haven't even showed each other our ideas yet.
Wow.
So the days were used to show each other our ideas. Like I go, what do you guys think of this? Oh yeah, we love it. Let's work on it. Okay. And we, you know, get a semi-arrangement. So on day 5, we jammed for 6 days. Okay. 6 days. We got, I think, 11 songs, but no lyrics. But but like chorus ideas and stuff like that. Well, Wagner, he likes to get the music like 2 months in advance. He usually goes out and does a week of pre-production rehearsals. None of that happened. And so he goes, you guys are going to be here like next Sunday, and I haven't heard any music yet. And we go, okay, we'll record tomorrow. So the singer's just scatting. We got one of our crew guys holding up an iPad in this like small room. And so we send that to him, and he goes, I can't hear the guitar. Can you do it? I go, that's what you can do, dude. I go, it's all going to be fine. It'll all work out. But we didn't tell him we didn't have any lyrics. We didn't have the lyrics yet.
Wow.
So, yeah, we don't have any words, you know. And he's just, I know he's nervous about the whole thing. You know, he doesn't know if we can do it. Well, but anyways, we had the arrangements good enough. We had the arrangements.
Right.
Here's why it worked. Here's why it worked with Michael Wagner. We put down all the basic tracks with the drums and bass while we played with them. We're not going to keep that, right? So then the bass player finishes his bass. Okay, now I find out the way Michael Wagner likes to work is one song at a time. So we know the song we're going to do tomorrow. And I'm going to put the guitars on, that we're going to do the background vocals, that we're going to do all the, you know. And it usually takes 2 days to do a song. So in the past, I've always done, I'll do like 5 rhythms in one day. I might not even change my sound. I did 5 rhythms today, thinking I'm all, you know, cocky. Wagner doesn't do it that way. He likes to do one song. So we know the song we're doing tomorrow. So we crammed and wrote all the lyrics at the house the night before that we went there, right? I mean, we're up until like 3 a.m. and finishing songs and stuff. And so that's the way it worked. And after we got 2 songs done, you could see that Wagner was really relieved that, you know, that this is going to work good. It's going to be fine.
Awesome.
But here's the great thing about it is we hired a film crew, and so we got cameras rolling in the studio like for 2 months, right?
Right.
They got GoPros, they had real nice gear, and so you can actually watch these songs kind of come out of nowhere. Like, we're writing lyrics while video cameras are rolling. You know what I mean? So it's pretty hysterical. But we're real proud of the record. It came out great, and we've never, our whole career, let anyone in the studio, no friends. I mean, while we're recording, okay?
Right.
You know, we have friends and family come in and maybe listen to a couple tracks before it's released or whatever, you know, before we're done with the record. But not while we're recording. It's always, you know, red light on, you know, please tape, come nowhere near us, you know. So about 8 years ago, I saw this making of Machine Head with Deep Purple, right?
Yeah.
And the bass player is like pushing up one fader at a time going, oh, listen to this Blackmore part. And I'm losing my mind over here thinking how great this is. But it's done like 20 plus years after they recorded the album. So I just got the thought, I knew it was going to be special working with Michael Wagner because he's such an icon, you know, sells 100 million records, Ozzy, the whole deal. And so I wanted to document this stuff. And, you know, somebody just came in. Anyways, I forget where I was going, but, oh, yeah, you know, so I just thought, how fun is it going to be for the fans to watch us record the album that they just bought? You know what I mean?
Nice.
I knew how I felt, and I'm the biggest geek-ass fan you've ever seen in your life. I mean, just forget that I play guitar. I wig out on how great everybody is. I'm the biggest fan. I mean, we played Europe one time with Buddy Guy. I went in the crowd, even though it's unprofessional. I didn't even care. I wanted to see him play, you know. And I go, besides, who's gonna know me? I'm not like Bon Jovi, you know. I just put a baseball hat on and it'd be handled. But so I decided that'd be real fun. You know, a couple spats on tape. You know, we usually argue over songs. We never fight about anything except the song. You know what I mean? No, my idea is way better than yours, dude.
Cool.
You know, but so that was fun. That we included that, you know, with the album. So
sweet. All right,
yeah.
A couple more questions. Like I said, when you hear a Great White tune on the radio, when you're in the car, do you turn it off or do you still listen to it?
Still listen. I'm so grateful for, you know, all the big songs and the stories that we hear from the fans. You know, they'll tell you where they were when it came out, and I was with my first girlfriend. I got married to that song. I was in high school. I remember when this was going on MTV, man. You know, it just you can't help but, you know, get chills. I mean, it just blows my mind. My wife will be like on the way back from the store and call me and go, "Rock Me's on the radio." Awesome, man, awesome. You know, so yeah, it's fun, you know, to share that with your family, and when we come on the radio, man, I just think it's the greatest because you know, and it's all the radio is pretty much classic radio. You know, they play, you know, Tom Petty, and then we might come in, or, you know, this or that. But so it's a lot different than it used to be. They used to play current music.
Right.
You know, there are some freeform stations, but not many. And so it's more difficult today to get your music to the people.
Well,
you know, no record stores, no MTV, no radio. You know, all we have is the internet. So, you know, we have a pretty good team of internet assassins that kind of know what they're doing.
Right.
So,
you have me and play loud and proud.
Yeah, we just want the fans to know that we have music so they can listen to it. I almost don't even care if they buy it. I just want to go, so what did you think, dude? You know, is it okay? Or, you know, whatever.
Nice.
Yeah.
So do you have a favorite Great White song?
A favorite Great White song?
Yeah.
The best memory I have is Rock Me, because it was kind of a transitional period musically.
Right.
I was free to play what I felt, you know.
Right.
And then and one of the things that was really cool was hearing it back when it was mixed. And Niven, even, I think Niven nailed it. We have a documentary, and he nailed it when he said, "I don't think Kendall knew what he had until he heard that mix back." And I didn't, you know, because you're kind of have tunnel vision. You're just thinking about what you're playing. You know, you really don't know if it's going to be good or you're great or, you know, whatever. You certainly don't know if it's going to, even after you hear it, if it's ever going to be a hit or whatever.
Right.
You don't know how people can, you know,
cool.
Call it, because I had no idea Once Bitten Twice Shy would be a hit. I didn't even know we'd ever put that out.
Right.
I just thought when they brought the song to us, when Niven brought the song to us, you know, I thought, oh yeah. One thing I liked was the lyrics. I thought the lyrics were really cool. I go, this is a good little honky tonk, you know, kind of, you know, it's not gay at least. I mean, this is pretty cool.
Right on.
And so I kind of liked the song, but I just thought it would be a real good album track. You know, I never envisioned putting it out for the single.
Cool.
And the record company almost practically insisted on it.
Wow.
You know? And then it just completely took on a life of its own, you know, but we had no idea that was going to happen.
Nice. So, for future musicians out there, such as your grandson, I see him. You post a lot of videos of him rocking out to your tunes with his little electric guitar and everything. What's your advice for future guitarists and musicians out there?
I would just say, an up-and-comer, just, practice all you can. Try to learn all you can from other people that play better. I would suggest learning how to read music, because the stars don't line up for everybody as far as in a band setting.
Right.
So at least you can play guitar for a living if you read music. As a session guy, a lot of opportunities can open up that maybe could turn into a big band thing,
Right.
But the other thing is you have to believe, you have to be able to pretend and really believe that you can do it, because I can just remember the singer and I would sit with cassette players and pretend we were doing interviews. Like, how long has the band been together? You know what I mean?
Right.
We pretended like we played the Forum, because it's where the Lakers played, and that's where we saw our concerts when we were teenagers.
Right.
It's where we saw Ted Nugent swing through the building. That's where we saw Rush. That's where we saw AC/DC. So it was our dream to play there. So when we're practicing in the living room and we're done, we would go, "Forum, good night."
That's awesome.
You know what I mean? And the funny thing is I'm doing an interview right now, and we played the Forum.
Right on.
If you believe, I really think if you believe in yourself and work really hard,
Cool.
You at least put yourself in the position to get lucky. It don't have to happen, but
Nice.
what we did was try to play more than everyone,
Right.
which kind of put us in a little bit better position to get lucky, because we weren't just playing on weekends. We played during the week too, but mostly free at clubs and whatever. Our first idea, and I can't believe we would say something like this, but our very first idea was maybe we can brainwash people into thinking they're supposed to like it. Because we play so much. You know what I mean?
Right.
We related it to Tide, the laundry detergent. Believe it or not, we actually related it. We go, the reason people buy Tide is because that's all they see.
Right.
And when they go to the store, they just gravitate to that laundry detergent. We have to become Tide. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And that's what we did. And like I said, it didn't have to happen, but eventually the right guy was in the crowd,
Awesome.
and gave us a chance at a career. And,
Nice.
and that's pretty sweet. But I think that an up-and-coming guitar player, I don't want to repeat myself, but I really think that you have to believe in yourself, and you have to work really hard and practice all you can. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
All guitar players.
All right. Last but not least, how can people find you? Plug away.
Well, I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. The band is Great White, and we had to say this. We had to call it Great White Band, or else, if you pull up Great White, it's going to be Jaws, sharks, So we call our Facebook Great White Band. Okay.
Right on.
If you want to find out what we're up to, what we're doing, current news, shows, merchandise, whatever, you can go to our website. You can get the album and, making of DVD, and it's officialgreatwhite.com.
Sweet. So I just wanted to say thank you on behalf of my fans, your fans, and my family, and my producer Jay is on the call, on the Skype call as well. I can't speak for him, but I can just definitely speak to the many fans that you have, and the fans I do have are very eternally grateful. And also Melissa, you're an amazing publicist, made this happen. So thank you so much, Mark. I very much appreciate it.
Yeah, you guys are doing a great show.
Thank you.
Awesome, man. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Well, we'll talk soon. Take care. Have a good night.
Okay, bye-bye.
Take care.